Hi, and welcome to my slideshow. These are some of the slides from my 2004 Yucatan Peninsula trip. I began this trip by flying into Cancun, where I picked up a rental car with a little extra insurance. My first destination was Chichen Itza, about 130 miles from Cancun. It was the region's Mayan capital. The most recognizable structure is El Castillo, which casts the shadow of a serpent during the rising and setting of the sun during the spring and autumn equinox. Chichen Itza can be translated into meaning the mouth of the well of the Itza. Itza is the name of the ethnic group that had gained political and economic power in the region. What is referred to as the mouth of the well is also known as a cenote, or a sinkhole, and they were used for sources of fresh water. However, the cenote here at Chichen Itza is a sacred one, in which sacrifices of gold, jewelry, and even human sacrifices have been made to. Chichen Itza is also known for its variety of architectural styles. This building here, the Temple of Warriors with its cylindrical columns, shows Toltec influences on Mayan architecture. This is the Great Ball Court. Here, opposing teams would try and bounce a ball off the wall and make it through a 12-meter high hoop. Theorists believe that this building was a type of observatory that had windows and doors aligned to celestial bodies. Exploring Chichen Itza was very interesting, but I have to say, I got really creeped out by some of the locals staring at me from up above, like this guy, and from down below, like this fella. After Chichen Itza, I hopped in the car and headed to Merida. But along the way, I decided to make a side trip to Izamal, where I saw a wedding procession and some more ruins. It was when I climbed to the top of these ruins that I met a girl by the name of Lisa. Here we are sitting out a rainstorm on the side of the road. Turns out she's been living in Merida with her boyfriend. He's the one with the hat on the left. When we got to town, he took me to a friend's hotel where he got me a really good deal, only $1.50 a night. The next morning was Sunday, and when I woke up, I couldn't figure out why the streets were deserted. But once I got to the center of town, I realized they're all there having a good time. Merida's home to the oldest church in the New World, and seeing how it's Sunday, I thought it might be fun to go to Mass. And late that evening, some of the street performers came out. After Merida, I headed to Celestun, which is a wetlands reserve known for its pink flamingos. I took a boat through some of the mangrove trees there. We stopped at a walkway so that we could get off and look at some of the birds. After Celestun, I spent the next few days going from archaeological site to archaeological site. And I got to see a lot of really interesting stuff and some very beautiful sunsets. Initially, the roads were pretty good, but the farther I got out there, the worse the roads seemed to get. Before long, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get out. One of the best things about traveling is meeting new and interesting people. I met this couple at one of the ruins I visited. Turned out we were both headed in the same direction for a few days, so I offered him a ride. When I got near the eastern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, I decided to take a break from the ruins and enjoy some of the beaches. The water was so beautiful and clear that I decided I wanted to try snorkeling for the first time. I started asking around in the town, which led me to these two kids who offered to take me out on their dad's old fishing boat. After a couple lungfuls of water, I started to figure out how the snorkel works. And it started to get pretty fun. I saw a whole bunch of different kinds of tropical fish, and it was just neat to see what it looks like under all the water. As I made my way up the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula, I stopped at one of the must-see ruins, Xel-Há. It's absolutely gorgeous and it's placed right on a white sandy beach. While I was there, I saw a traditional type of dance done by the Totonac Indians. It was very impressive, but I was a little perplexed as to why I saw it where I did. The Totonac Indians are from Veracruz, Mexico, over 500 miles away. Continuing my journey north up the peninsula, I ended up on the island of Cozumel, where I met a man who rented me a surfboard. I wasn't too impressed by the waves, but it's fun nonetheless to say I surfed the Caribbean Sea. When I got back to Cancun, I thought I'd spend the last few days of my trip sightseeing around the city. Unfortunately, I caught the flu and didn't leave my flea bag hotel for the last 3 days of my trip. And that concludes my slideshow. I hope you've enjoyed it.